I'm Cathal the Storyteller, and in this video I'm going to tell you the story of the Children of Lir. It's one of Ireland's most famous mythological stories, for a good reason. So the Tuatha Dé Danann, they are the tribe of gods and goddesses that ruled Ireland and in Irish mythology, and their high king was called Bob Darrogh. Now, Lir wasn't happy that Bob Darrogh was the high king. He wanted to be the high king himself. So Bob Darrogh offered his daughter Eve to marry Lir. Lir married her, and they became very happy together, a loving couple who had 4 children, Fionnuala, Fiachra, and Con. Now the last 2 children, Fiachra and Con, were actually twins, and Eve died in childbirth. This made Lir obviously very sad and depressed, and Fionnuala stepped forward and says, "Don't worry, Dad, look, I'll mind the other children, okay, it'll be fine." But Lir knew that she was a child herself, she couldn't take on this responsibility. He knew he would have to find another wife to take Eve's place. So Bob Darrogh offered his other daughter, Aoife, to become Lir's wife, and he accepted, and they grew to love each other. But Lir often thought that maybe Aoife doesn't love his children as much as he loves them himself. And it didn't help that one day Lir came to Aoife and said, "You know, my children, I've noticed that they're growing up so fast, and I don't get to spend enough time with them. So I think I'm just going to spend a bit more time with them, if that's okay." That was the straw that broke the camel's back for Aoife. She was like, "Okay, he's already spending so much time with them. I need to get rid of these kids once and for all." So with the help of her servant, she hatches a plan. The darkness takes over her, and she can't even think properly anymore. She says to Lir one day, "I'm going to bring the children down to the lake for a swim." And Lir is happy to hear this, that she's finally making an effort. So they go down to the lake, and they're swimming, and of course there's a servant, and Aoife hands a sword to the servant and says, "Kill them." The servant holds the sword in his hands, and he can't quite bring himself. He looks out at the 4 children. He thinks they're so innocent. "No, I can't do it." So he throws the sword down. Aoife thinks about killing them herself, but she can't physically do it either. As bad as she is, she can't actually kill them. But the Tuatha Dé Danann are blessed with magic spells, so she looks out on the lake and she sees a swan, and she thinks, "I'm going to turn them into swans." So she starts casting the spell. Fionnuala is looking at it. Aoife notices something is up. She's saying something strange. She says, "Oh my God, is she casting a spell?" And she looks at A, and she notices that A's hand is getting smaller and smaller, and there's feathers growing in his hand. A looks at her, and she says, "Fionnuala, your hair is it's changing color. It's changing to white." And they look at the twins, and they're getting smaller and smaller. And Fionnuala shouts at Aoife, "Aoife, what are you doing? What do you think you're doing?" And Aoife explains, "You're going to be gone forever. I'm going to have your father to myself. I'm turning you into swans. So for 900 years, you're going to be cast out. For the first 300 here in the lake, the next 300 in the Sea of Moyle, and the 300 after that in Inishglora. This spell will only be broken by the ringing of a church bell." And Fionnuala is distraught. She says, "This, our father, we're going to miss our father. Please, at least let us have our voices." And Aoife, who hasn't really thought out this plan very well, she agrees. She's not all bad. She's, "Okay, you can have your voices. And I tell you what, look, you can have the prettiest singing voices in all of Ireland." So they are now swans. Aoife returns to the castle. She runs into Lir and says, oh my God, your children, they've all drowned. They're gone completely." And Lir asks, "What? Drowned?" So he's not just going to listen to this. He runs down to the lake. He looks for the children. He can't see them anywhere. 4 swans start coming towards him, and he could swear that one of them is speaking to him. And he listens, and it's Fionnuala's voice. And she says to him, "Aoife, turn this into swans. She cast a spell. We're cast out for 900 years. And this makes Lir so angry. So he runs back to Aoife and tells her to undo the spell. And she says she's knowing the word that she's going to do that. So Bob Darrogh comes in. He's the father. And he turns her into a demon. And she's cast out for eternity as punishment. Now this doesn't make Lir any much happier. He still misses his children. So day in, day out, he goes down to the lake. He hears them singing. He spends time with them. And even in the stormy weather, his servants try to drag him away from his children. But he stays with them until the day that he dies. And Fionnuala, Fiachra, and Con, they miss their dad. And the 300 years pass, and now it's time for them to go to the Sea of Moyle. Unfortunately, the Sea of Moyle is a stormy, windy, big waves, and many times the siblings are cast out from each other, but Fionnuala brings them back together, and she says, "It's okay, we'll get through this." So 300 years pass, and now it's time to go to Inish Glora. Thankfully, Inish Glora is much calmer, and the 300 years pass, and they hear the bells ringing. Bells of a church, possibly. So they move towards where they can hear the bells ringing, and a man starts walking down to the lake. And he hears these swans talking, and he has a shock. What? His name is Quavog, and he's a monk. And he takes the swans out of the water, and he hears their story, and he feels sorry for them. And he offers to build them a nest in his monastery. He feeds them, he looks after them, makes sure they have a nice, happy life. And they tell him the story of the two-headed Danann, of their father, of Eve, and all the rest. And he writes it down, actually. He writes down all these old stories. He knows they will be important for future generations. And Quavog explains to them his story, who he is, that he is a Christian and all that. And they are also interested in his stories. But the day arrives when he wakes up one morning and he notices that they are now being transformed again from swans into human beings. And they're now 900-year-old humans. And he's so sad to see them going. And he asks them if they want to be blessed before they go. And they says, yeah, you can give us a blessing. So he gives them a blessing and they pass. And he buries them in the one grave. And that night, he's walking around the monastery. It's a nice, clear night. And he's feeling sad. He thinks about the stories that they told him. And he looks up at the sky and he notices 6 stars just flying across the sky. And he couldn't help but think that they are Fionnuala, Fiachra, A, and Con, and the 2 parents, Eve and Lir. And they're all happy together in another realm. So that's the story of the Children of Lir. Hope you enjoyed it. Please check out my channel for all other videos, and please like and subscribe.